Hello and welcome to Painted Haunt. I'm your host, Adri Hayes, and we are starting a very special series, a birthday series, if you will, because two great birthdays are happening in the month of July. First, the 250th birthday of the United States. Secondly, my birthday. I'll be 37. But anyways, to celebrate America's birthday specifically, I thought we would talk about ghost stories from all 13 colonies, starting from the top and coming all the way down to where I live here in Georgia. So this is part one. It's probably going to be like a part 2, part 3 situation, but definitely we're starting with part 1. So the first place we're going to talk about is the Colonial Inn in Massachusetts. So the Colonial Inn, as it's called today, has been in existence for 300 years. And it started in 1716 as an inn and a restaurant. The Revolutionary history, so the Revolutionary War history, starts with a battle that took place nearby at the North Bridge on April 19th, 1775. So later the inn would be used as a store and boarding house in the early 1800s, and even sees Henry David Thoreau, the writer of Walden, staying there while he went to Harvard, which I did not know he went to Harvard, and I've studied Henry David Thoreau's work. How did I miss that? Anyways, the first ghost sightings occurred in 1966, and these ghost sightings are related to the Revolutionary War period of this inn. So a newlywed couple from New York experienced a presence in room 24. The wife would write to the innkeeper after leaving their honeymoon that she saw a grayish figure at the side of the bed, who moved to the foot of the bed, then to the fireplace in the room. This figure, she said, had no distinguishing features, so she could not tell who this figure was. And then the apparition just disappeared. This apparently terrified the wife, rightfully so, because it was in the middle of the night, and she could not figure out who this could be. She was like, who is this? But we have our theories. History has its theories. So during the Battle of Concord, wounded soldiers were taken to the inn for treatment. At the time, a Dr. Timothy Minot owned part of what is today the Colonial Inn, and he would use room 24 and the Liberty Room, one of which was used. One was used as operating room, and the other was like a room where the soldiers could rest and recuperate. Today, the hauntings continue, of course, with the lights flickering specifically in room 24 and whispers from the closet, which is terrifying. Like that, if a closet is involved paranormally, I don't like it. And also, people report being tucked into bed, and this woman that tucks them into bed, this spirit, is said to be a nurse who was there to help these wounded soldiers during the Revolutionary War. So now we go to Colonel Buck's cursed tomb, and this is included. So I included Maine because Maine was part of Massachusetts during the Revolutionary War, and this is one of those stories that is just, it's stuck in my head. So let's get on with it. So this next story is what happens when you cross the wrong woman. This tells all this time. It's very much giving what's that movie, Fatal Attraction, but like with ghosts. So first of all, let's talk about who Colonel Jonathan Buck was. So he's a well-known historical figure in Maine, and he is responsible for founding the city of Bucksport, formerly known as Buckstown on the Penobscot River. He was also a Revolutionary War hero as well as a womanizer. And this is where our story starts. So Colonel Buck had a thing for the ladies. He was out there. He was out there. He like, this is the name of my town. This is my town. I discovered it, so I get all the ladies. Not true, Mr. Buck. So the story goes, he had an affair with a woman. It's also been said she was a native. But either way, she was accused of being a witch when he was found out by his wife. Like, basically, his wife found them out, that they were together. And he said, well, no, because she bewitched me. So what happens is this poor woman ends up being accused of witchcraft and subsequently executed. And this is where the story further gets juicy. So she said this woman basically put a curse on him. She says that Jonathan Buck would rot in hell and she would come back to dance on his grave. Very much like Beasts of the Southern Wild. When you die, I'm going to sit on your grave and eat cake. It's very much that energy. One of my favorite lines from that movie, by the way. And once Colonel Buck dies, the curse apparently activated because a foot-shaped etching appeared on his grave, and it is there till this day. People have tried to clean it off. People have tried, because it's like, I think that's granite. It's a granite, stone monument, and people have tried to clean it off, and it will not go. It won't go away. It's still there. It's almost like they keep cleaning and it gets even more pronounced. So like I said, people have tried to clean it, but the imprint is still there. And sometimes at his grave site, you can hear the woman he had killed, he had executed, cursing him for all eternity. It's also been said that Colonel Buck is the one who put the leg imprint on the grave. There's another story that's related to Colonel Buck that we don't have the time for in this video, that I'm going to do on TikTok, involving an illegitimate child. And if you're from Maine, you probably know the story. But for those who don't spoil it. Just hold out for that one. People don't know that Blackbeard was married legally once. Now, he did claim other wives, but I've read that was more common law than actually wedding bells and a ring on the finger and a preacher and all that. So lying just off Portsmouth, New Hampshire, there's a 9-mile long island. It's a rocky archipelago is the technical term. And it's just 6 miles off the coast of New Hampshire and Maine. So this is the Isle of Shoals, and it's actually near an island called Star Island that I'm going to do a video on later. But that one's also haunted. This is where Blackbeard's wife is said to haunt. So again, you don't know, you got married. So the short of it is, Blackbeard was a pirate whose real name was Edward Teach. If you don't know his whole career, he was called Edward Teach. That was his government name, shall we say his government name. His piratical career only lasted 2 years, but he left quite an impression on the eastern seaboard and the Caribbean. See Charleston, South Carolina. They really caught it from him. And he married a woman. They say that her name is Mary Ormond, but then I've heard her name was also, I think I have it in my notes, Elizabeth, which is ironic. Pirates of the Caribbean. But anyways, it's said that either way, whoever this woman is said to be his wife, and she walks the shores of the island of Shoals awaiting his return. And she's said to appear to people and say he will return and then just disappear. And what's interesting is there was this show that was it was short-lived. It was called, what's it called? Is it called Blackbeard? It's the one where John Malkovich plays Blackbeard, and they include that wife, or the wife he was actually married to down in North Carolina. But in that, she's mentally ill. And that, when I was writing out this script and thinking of this story, I always go back to that show. But people say that this has been occurring, or rather this story has been in circulation as far back as the 1800s, like as far as being written down. So imagine how long it had been before that story, like before it was written down on paper. The story goes that he promised her that he would return, and he never did, of course. And so now she is said to his wife, I don't know if this is his legal wife or one of his like common law wives, but she is said to haunt the Isle of Shoals. So now we go on to Slater Mill in Rhode Island, home of the Griffins. I'm sorry, Family Guy has ruined Rhode Island for me. I am so sorry. So just north of Providence, Rhode Island, next to the Pawtucket Falls, sits a building by the name of Slater Mill. So the mill is named for Englishman Samuel Slater, who immigrated to the U.S. and helped businessman Moses Brown with the creation of new machines that could better do the job for his textile mill. So it's a cotton mill. It was basically, the mill was built for spinning cotton. So Slater Mill would come online in the 1790s, and the first group of people to work there were, of course, children, because they just saw them as little adults, or just like the best way I can describe it is little adults. So the very first group consisted of 5 girls and 4 boys, so 9 children in total. The amount of workers would grow then from there, and this included, in addition to children, whole families, and they would live in basically mill housing, and it was not as convenient as you would think. But not surprisingly, the children spent many long hours working in the mill, and they were not paid for their work, or if they were paid, it was like nothing, basically. So the children's jobs were crazy. They ranged from changing the spools of cotton to doffing, which entailed removing full bobbins of spun thread and replacing them with empty ones, to fixing broken threads, in which they would have to walk between working machinery to repair breaks in cotton yarn as it was spun, and then to cleaning the machines. Now, when changing the looms, children would be crushed by the machines as they were still working. So, like, go back to them repairing the breaks in cotton as it was spun. That's a very dangerous job. And the reason they used children, of course, was because those children, they got small hands. They're small. They can get in there. But there were so many deaths related to this mill, and I would argue to say many other mills. I mean, there's one not far from where we are that I'm pretty sure caught a couple of deaths. So in addition to risking your life in the mill proper, you also could risk your life in the wheel house, or the wheel pit rather. So the mill was operated by hydropower, so by water, and boys particularly were required to run on the water wheel to keep it going. So when it slowed down or stopped completely, they had to get in there and run. And as a result, children, boys, would be crushed in there as well. And there is one death that I've heard that we know of in which a boy was crushed. Today, at Slater Mill, people hear disembodied voices as well as screams of pain. I say the screams are more than likely echoes of the past of children, unfortunately being severely or fatally injured while working at the mill. Items have even been thrown at unsuspecting visitors, 2 of which were a pair of antique crutches and a spike from a blacksmith's bench. That child was pissed. To be fair, I mean, wouldn't you not be upset? You 9 years old, lost an arm because you had to provide for your family, or because also horrible working conditions. Pettibone Tavern, which is, I love that last name, Pettibone. I think it's a really cool, sort of colonial last name. It has a good ring to it. But it's the Pettibone Tavern, also known as Abigail's Bar and Grill. And this is down in Connecticut. So we're going from Rhode Island down to Connecticut. So located in Simsbury, Connecticut, sits the Pettibone Tavern, aka Abigail's Bar and Grill. So this story is, as our parent country, former parent country, Britain would say, this is proper scary. It is pretty terrifying. So we'll get into the scary part, but let's get a little bit of history, because 250 years, we gotta show some love to the history. Pettibone Tavern was built by Jonathan Pettibone Jr., and the inn itself has served travelers since 1780, being an important stop along the Boston to Albany Turnpike, and has purportedly even housed founding fathers such as George Washington while he traveled. And you'll find a lot of places say this, which, it makes sense, because that area was kind of, to me, it seems like it was close-knit. Like, historically, it was close-knit. But the tavern/inn would suffer a fire and reopen in 1803. Following that, it served as a restaurant, and in 2008, it would be renamed Abigail's Bar and Grill for Abigail Pettibone, who is said to be the resident ghost. So now we can get into the scary part. So the legend goes, Abigail Pettibone was the wife of a whaling captain, and while he was away, she would take on lovers. Captain Pettibone would, of course, find out about one of her lovers after coming home early and finding them together. In a rage, he would murder both his wife and the lovers with an axe, which is crazy. Just divorce her. Not only that, he is even said to have slashed her portrait, and they say her portrait actually still hangs in the Pettibone Tavern. It's just been restored. But because of this premature ending to her life, Abigail is said to haunt the restaurant. So lights turn on and off, while in the women's restroom, they say it has like an eerie chill about it. Like, they don't know, it just feels weird in there. People have even claimed to see Miss Abigail in that particular area. Additionally, in the mornings, employees report coming in to find the electric candles, because there's like atmospheric lighting all around the house or all around the inn and restaurant, and they say that they'll find the candles turned back on when they turn them all off the night before, before they close for the evening. Now, here's the thing though. Earlier I said this is said to be the ghost of Abigail Pettibone, but here's what's even scarier about this. We might not really know who this woman is, because the real Abigail was married twice. Neither were last name Pettibone. I think that was her maiden name. And she died at the age of 81. 3 of her sons actually served in the Revolutionary War, so they even have a DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, chapter named after her because of that. And that makes me wonder, who is this woman that haunts this house? To me, that's even creepier, because we don't know who this person is. Ew. I don't like a mystery. I like a mystery, but I don't know. There's something so creepy about that. It's crazy because, the way folklore goes, stuff gets mangled and tangled and twisted up. So, I wonder if they crossed up Abigail Pettibone with another woman, and now we think it's Abigail haunting the house when in fact it's someone else. I don't know. It's a mystery. And don't worry, I am going to dive down that rabbit hole. Don't you worry. I'm going to get into that one at a later date. And now this one, I don't know if I can say this one is my favorite. So many of them are. Washington Square Park in New York City. So Okay, people, let me say this. People don't think about this, but cities like New York City are haunted. They've been here for eons, as far as American eons go. They've seen a lot. They've been through a lot. So yes, New York City is haunted. You'd be surprised how many people don't think of New York City as being a haunted city. I think they can reconcile it being a haunted state, but for some reason, giant cities just throw them off. The reason why I think people say it's not haunted is because they're like, it's too busy, and it's like, ghosts don't care. There's a whole movie about New York City being haunted, and that's called Ghostbusters. Check it out. It's a wonderful documentary. But back to Washington Square. So Washington Square is 9.75, acres. I was going to say square miles, acres. And it has been many things. So before it was a park, the Lenape people initially stayed here. The Dutch West India Company would later come in and set up shop in the 1600s at the tip of Manhattan Island. Following the Lenape people settling there, freed Africans would stay on this plot of land in the early 1640s, and apparently this land was given to them by the Dutch. I guess it's like sorry, we took you away from your home. But their land would be taken away when the British came in, and then they would, of course, turn it into burial ground. And specifically, this burial ground was a potter's field. So what is the potter's field? A potter's field is burial ground for people that are less fortunate or poor. Criminals were also buried there, as well as the mentally ill. They basically just put all the quote-unquote dregs of society into this one area to be buried. Sometimes in a box, sometimes not. But in addition to the poor victims of the yellow fever epidemic that took place in New York City, as we know it today, New York City as we know it today, were buried there. Until this day, 20,000 people are said to be buried beneath the park. So we actually know one of those graves, or one of those people, because his grave was unearthed in 2009. So his name was James Jackson. He died on September 22nd, 1799, and he was 28 years old. And he was a watchman. Which is, they said it's strange because they were kind of like mass graves. So they don't know if maybe he was poor and they buried him there, like in the potter's field, in that way, or what the situation was. But he actually had a gravestone. That's what they said was a little strange. However, most of the graves, as I was saying, are unmarked, which makes him so interesting. So in the 1820s, the cemetery will be turned into the Washington Military Parade Ground. And this is the start of Washington Square as a public space. So Washington Square Park as we know it today. And of course, it is named for George Washington. So now that we had some history, let's get into like the creepy stuff. So in addition to 20,000 bodies being buried beneath the area you might be skating on, there's this elm, and it's said to be the Hangman's Elm. It sits at the northwest corner of Washington Square Park, and it is said to be 330 plus years old. So it was here when the Dutch were here. Now, legend has it that traders from the branches were hung from the branches of the tree during the American Revolution. And while that's disputed because no one can find records of these hangings, there was one hanging that we know of that occurred in the 1800s, and that was the hanging of an enslaved woman whose name was Rose Butler, and she apparently was hung for arson. So there's a little tiny bit of truth, but even still, that's creepy. They also say that like there were hangings in general there, but where Washington Square Park sits, it was also part of it was, well, that part was a working farm. But I mean, either way, that's creepy. Like history aside, that is hella unnerving. In addition to the hanging, the park itself is said to be haunted. Are you not surprised? So people see young children in 18th century clothing, usually sitting amongst the visitors in the park. Like they'll be, because there's steps. So the way I pictured it, because I love to write creatively, is you could be sitting there in the park just kind of chilling, and you look and there's like some kid with like a mob cap and like a colonial dress, and they're just standing there, and you're like, okay. And then you look away and they're gone. So it's like that. An eerie blue fog hangs over the park at night as well. And these are said to be the ghosts or the spirits of those people that were buried there, during those years when it was a potter's field and during those yellow fever epidemics. People have also experienced orbs, shadowy figures, and full body apparitions there as well. And what makes this even more classic is that this area is like highly sought after because it's in Greenwich. so it's like you pay how much for your house and it's haunted? Girl, bye. But now we go on down to New Jersey, and we're going to talk about Knitting Betty. She has many names, by the way. So she's Knitting Betty, she's Dutch Betty, she's English Betty, she's Black Betty, Bam Blam. I had to add that last part because when I saw that, I was like, okay. But Knitting Betty is quite a story. So there are two legends here associated with Knitting Betty, or rather, there are two versions. So the first legend is simple and straightforward. A young woman named Betty had a boyfriend who joined up to fight with the Continental Army, aka the Patriots, and they went to fight at the Battle of Monmouth. And awaiting his return, Betty would sit on a rock while knitting just to keep the time. And she could see the road basically from where she sat, and he never returned, and she died of a broken heart. That's the first story. The second story fleshes Betty out. She's not just a pretty forlorn face. In this version, she sits on that rock knitting because she was a spy for the Continental Army. And she was said to have provided information that helped the Continental Army win the Battle of Monmouth in 1778. And the British apparently found out, and she was beheaded for it. And it's kind of sad because the legend goes she never got to learn that she actually helped the colonial army, the Continental Army, win the Battle of Monmouth. So people claim to see her spirit, this is like the definitive part, dressed in a white lace gown, just knitting, sitting on the rock, just as she did. And they named that rock after Betty. So that's a very sweet story, but I think it's cool that she was a spy. That's pretty, because there were actually a lot of women involved in the Revolutionary War, more than Betsy Ross, which I think is amazing because they never shot us out. I mean, I think we're the best spies because who's gonna suspect a woman? But now let's get on to Mad Anthony Wayne in Pennsylvania. I heard this story, as I've heard many ghostly legends, as a child. And this story is wild. It has everything. Trifling children, a man who was mad, and a highway that is haunted. So, who is Mad Anthony Wayne? So, Anthony Wayne was a general in the Continental Army, and he was given the nickname Mad Anthony because of his tactics that he chose to do in battle. So, General Wayne would die of gout in 1796, although people also say he may have been poisoned, but the widely believed cause of death is gout. And this is where the story gets crazy. His death is where it gets mad. So he was buried twice. His first interment was in Erie, Pennsylvania at the Anthony Wayne Blockhouse. Because they have a fort up there, and that's where he was buried. So his skin and his military uniform are buried there till this day, and you can actually see. Oh wait, I totally skipped that. Let me repeat that. His skin and military uniform are buried there. Why would his skin be buried there, Adri? I wonder. The reason is because they couldn't carry his body. So his son came to, reinter him in the family graveyard cemetery. And they could not take him out and carry him. He was still so well preserved. So what they did was they boiled him down in a pot, which you can still see this pot today in Erie, Pennsylvania. And they took his bones. So his son takes his bones and he puts him in a trunk in the back of a wagon. And the idea is he'll just take that on to, his second final resting place, and that'll be it. Well, when his son got to his destination, he found that the bones were gone. At least half of these bones were gone. Half of Anthony Wayne had been strewn across Pennsylvania. And so, freaked out by this, his son, I think they said he did try to backtrack, but could not find the bones. Because this is also in the winter, and it was snowing, it was cold. And so now Anthony Wayne, Mad Anthony Wayne, is said to haunt Route, I think it's 332. And they say that he always appears on his birthday, which was New Year's Day. And people report seeing this man dressed in colonial garb looking for his bones. Or they say as though he's looking for something, but we know he's looking for his bones. So that is the end of part 1 of the Painted Haint 250th American birthday special. Why did I pause? I will see you all on the second part. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And also stay tuned for some TikToks that I have coming up regarding the American Revolution as far as paranormal stuff. Bye.